Alright guys, let's go. This is DM and welcome back to the channel and back to episode 5 now of Steve Jackson's Sorcery. And if you don't remember from the last episode, of course, always stop, go back, make sure you've seen all the episodes so that you know how we got to this point. Steve Jackson's Sorcery is a very story-based game. It's basically a lot of narration, I do a lot of talking, and we follow through doing our choices. There is combat, of course, in the game. It's very turn-based, and it's basically kind of like sort of a rock, paper, scissors type situation where you've got to either block, do a big attack, do a small attack. You know what I mean? It's you'll see it if you go back and watch episodes 1 and 2. I think there was a decent amount of combat in there, so you can see what I'm talking about. But for now, guys, we just got through Baratanti, I believe, and we're now trying to head over to the east over here to Karn. But I believe I have to go through Torapani. We have a little guide now whose name is John, who's essentially kind of like a fairy. Um, he advised us that there's some black flowers this way. I get the feeling black flowers are a bad idea. There's this thing going on called the plague in this game, and I really don't think I want to be going anywhere near some interestingly colored flowers. So we're going to go right through the forest. We go right, you decide. Then be on your guard, John warns you. Of course warns me after I make the decision. You climb a rise. The way is not too steep, and as noon approaches, you have crested the ridge and are descending yet again. You are now at the highest point of the hills, where the trees are thin and the view goes west. The view west goes on forever, and sometimes you catch glimpses of Karn on the northern horizon. Something. Taking a brief pause, you eat some of your provisions and feel better for it. Then you continue along your path. John is in a talkative move over the worst of his headache from last night's drinking, and fills the air around with his chatter about what he can see, how things smell, and what he plans to do once he makes his fortune in Car. You pass You pass from the open hillside to a patch of deep forest. Quite suddenly John falls quiet and hisses in your ear. Stop! Stop now! Why? Because, insists the creature in a tiny voice, because something is following us. You come to a dead stop. John is right. Something is moving through the trees behind you. A moment later, a point of steel has emerged from the darkness between two trees and touches your neck. You've seen me, whispers a voice. I know it. I see nothing, you call back. You are quite safe. It is I who is not safe, returns the fight. Returns the fight. I'm already reading the options. Returns the voice. Who's there? There is no reply, but the tall, dark figure of an assassin emerges from the trees. He is dressed head to toe in black, and you had not seen him a moment before, even though he had been standing a mere arm's length away. He wields a sharp scimitar in expert hands. Oh man. I don't wanna. What do I wanna do? We're gonna try casting a spell. I've been trying to do magic this whole time, having a little bit of a hard time with it. Ba-boom! You cast a spell, but nothing results. I should probably tell you, John warns, or whispers. Minimites are protected by an aura. It is a curse sometimes, like now, because you can't cast magic while I'm nearby, and I'm not leaving while that assassin is there. You bring your sword up to bear. So this is what I was talking about the combat. The assassin nods at you, raises his curved sword in salute, and readies his stance. You drop into a defensive crouch immediately. The assassin is perhaps the most fearsome opponent you have so far encountered. He responds with a swing of dance-like grace and deceptive force. The air itself sings as the blade comes home. You ready yourself for the impact as you catch the blow on the very hilt of your sword. He laughs appreciatively. He spins his sword out to shift the sword across his body. I should be able to... Oh, that's right. Charge! Time to attack. You rush forward with a deep, heavy slash, but the blow you land is only minor because the assassin has adjusted his stance swiftly. You knock the assassin staggering into a tree. He seems more surprised than hurt. You drop yourself into a crouch and he hangs back and watches you without emotion. Oh no. Acting quickly, you swing a masterful swipe, but the impact clangs against his turned sword. He grins. He is left breathless but otherwise unharmed. My duty is to sever your head from your neck, the assassin declares, in a voice as cold as polished marble. You will not hold me from it. Okay. You whip up your defenses as he tries a deep slice, but you roll out of the way, mostly unhurt. He nods to you wisely. The assassin swivels his grip. The weapon sings as he moves it. Aha! Leaping into action, you dive forward with a deep, heavy blow. But his own move is fast and careful, and he's able to parry. Blood drips from the assassin's tunic. He curses under his breath. Closing his eyes, the assassin murmurs a quick prayer as he sets his stance. Yes. You ready yourself to block as he powers forward, but it only tires him out. You are mostly unharmed. He raises one hand to draw a finger in a line across his throat. The assassin flicks the blade through the air, crouching as he moves. Oh, that was a bit. You hold firm and keep to your defense. His light blow sails over your head, moving with the deadly speed of an attacking serpent. You are mostly unharmed. You are weakening. This fight is becoming serious. The assassin raises his sword above his head, crouching as he moves. There we go. Feigning left, you sweep a masterful slash, but his own strike is offensive and he turns away most of the blow. The assassin's breath is coming in short gasps. He closes his eyes for a moment to steady himself. You will die out here, the assassin declares, his tone like ice. Okay. You duck down into a low stance as he attempts a heavy cut, but you duck mostly unharmed. The assassin turns his sword about, crouching as he moves. Boom! Got him. Time to attack. You charge forward with a deep, heavy swipe. He is off balance and moving slowly, and the blade goes deep. He turns and tumbles, releasing his sword as he topples. I am not so proud as to not admit when I am beaten, he groans. You may finish me if you so choose, but if you do, do me an honor and use my own blade. The assassin is not dead, but lies on the floor, gasping. With a single blow, you finish the assassin. He dies with his lips pursed in a silent prayer, not cursing you, but commanding his own soul to a better place. You rifle his body for a measly 3 gold pieces, then continue on the path, out of the woods and onto the dusty hillside. Jen, for a brief while, says nothing. Perhaps he is shocked. But the blissful silence doesn't last for long. How much longer do you think we'll be traveling today? The Minmite on your shoulder asks. I'm hungry and tired. We've gone such a long way. Not much farther. The Minmite sighs and slumps onto your shoulder. You continue along the path and around the side of a hill. A wooden hut is set into the slope, and with an old woman sitting on the front step. A river seems to emerge from beneath her. As you get closer, you realize the water flows underneath her house, and the house itself is set on splayed struts like an insect, straddling the watercourse. A few paces from the front of the house, water plunges over the edge of a sheer cliff and disappears. Greetings, you call. The woman looks up at you and smiles. Come over here, won't you? She calls. I can barely see you. I already regret my decision. But we're gonna own it. You approach the old woman. She smiles a toothless smile and gets up from the step. Come in, please, she beckons. I get so lonely living out here on my own, away from the villages. That's not a woman. You shake your head. I should not stay too long. I have a long journey still to make. Of course, she replies. We'll have our tea out here on the step. She sounds almost nervous. Hurrying to her kitchen, she returns with 2 large cups. Watch it, John whispers in your ear. I don't trust this one. The tea is still hot. You cup it between your hands as you speak. Why do you live alone? Are you so miserable? Oh, she smiles sweetly. No one bothers about me. Why would they? You smile and nod. What's your name? They call me Gazamoon, she replies with a smile. I used to be quite well known in my way. You nod, but you have never heard of her. This is a beautiful place, you remark, watching the river plunging away over the cliff face. It is the top of the crystal waterfall, she says. The river runs right under my house. They say it carries all my goodness and youth away while I sleep, and the villagers bathe in it for luck. She giggles meanly. I'm still, I'm sure it isn't quite true. You make to sip your tea while the old woman stops you, catching your arm before the cup reaches your lips. Oh, she says suddenly, I've forgotten the pot. She goes back to the kitchen to fix it. Fetch it. While she's away from the table, you switch the two cups around. When she returns, you lift the one closest to you and drink. A sudden deep pain grips your stomach and you double over. You wince and cough as you find yourself seizing up. "Ho, suspicious stranger," laughs the woman. "I can count on travelers suspecting my witchcraft." You try to shout out, but you are paralyzed and quite powerless. The old woman begins to search through your bag. John flits about in some distress, unsure what to do. Then, with a coo of delight, she pulls out the spell book page you were given by the old man in tree. "My book," she cries, "the missing page! Why didn't you tell me you had my missing spell?" She scurries off into the kitchen and returns with a cup of liquid, which she pours into your half-open mouth while clucking and stroking your head. It is an antidote, and you feel your body slowly unfreeze. Finally, she slaps you to bring you around. "Who was the old man?" "A rogue and a bandit," she replies, spitting. "4 days ago I was visited by a traveler such as yourself, but when I was away making my tea, as I always do, he started leafing through my book and tore out a page. He must have been a wizard of power, because he vanished almost too fast for me to curse him." "What curse did you cast?" "Well, you saw him," she replies. "I aged him. Didn't stop him escaping, though." She fusses with the page, repairing her spellbook with some gentle magic. "Shall I show you how useful the spell is?" she says. "What do you mean?" "Well," she makes a little gesture at something behind you. "How can I put this? You're sure you don't want me to rid you of a pest?" And you realize she's looking at John. "No, I have no pests." "No," she agrees with some disgust. "You seem rather clean." She gets to her feet. "You'd best be going." "You damn right." John hops onto your shoulder, whispering profuse thanks into your ear, and you leave. Oh god, I'm about to pass out. 2 out of 18 stamina. It is now late in the afternoon. You pass over the brow of the next hill, and below you is the village of Torapani, slung from one side of the valley to the next like a flood barrier. Wheels observed. Torapani is a village of the Sven, an aggressive-looking race of man-orcs. You might expect their village to be rowdy, maybe even more so than Baratanti during the festival, but it seems strangely quiet. Still, there's no way around it. You will have to go through. You enter the village. There is a definite air of depression hanging over the place. The Svens are going about their business, slowly and miserably, and pay you no heed. You sit yourself down on a tree stump in the very center of the village to consider your options. You spy a group of Svens sitting outside a low hut, and you walk over and sit yourself down. They are discussing a friend, apparently killed in the night by an assassin's curved blade. "I met this assassin," you remark, boldly interrupting, "out in the forest." "You met him? You're still alive," one Sven replies thickly. "I killed him," you reply. The Sven spit a gob of green goop onto the ground. "You do good, but you 1 day late for us." Another Sven bangs his hand down on the table. "But with Esh dead, who saved Tia?" "Who is Tia?" Our flowerless Sven, who answers, wipes a tear from the corner of his eye, scratching himself painfully with an uncut fingernail. "Sven is chief's daughter," the other Sven says. "Esh was to save her. Now Esh not alive, so Tia, soon, not alive." "What happened to her?" "Goblins. They sacrifice." "Sacrifice?" He's unsure of the word, so mimes a gesture like a stabbing downwards knife blade. "Yes, sacrifice to great cave demon." "Trouble is," another one says, "our village die if chief line end. Tia is end. So if end ends, we end. All very sad. Very sad, they all agree. Who you? One asks suddenly, as if only just thinking of it. He prods you in the chest. Warrior. Warrior! A sudden gleam enters the biggest one's eyes. Great warrior? I do my best. Best is good. Meek, Tifa. He signals to the others who are quickly on their feet, big hefty arms swinging for you. We take you, Chief. Before you can resist, they have you and are hauling you bodily onto their shoulders. Jan clings onto your shoulder, refusing to be shaken free. Where are you taking me? The Svens carrying you give no reply. Then you reach a low hut on the edge of the village. You are set down carefully. Captured. The door is slammed and locked. A moment later it reopens and your possessions are thrown inside. Okay. A few more minutes pass with no more movement. Figuring they will probably now wait until daylight, you put your head down to sleep. Your dreams are filled with grasping hands and long dark nails scratching at your flesh. And however much you toss and turn on the floor, you cannot quite get them out of your mind. Daybreak. You are still alone. An hour passes before you hear any noise outside, and then the door to the hut opens and 5 Sven come in. They drag you roughly out and across the street to another hut where an old man with gray hair sits. He's wearing outlandish, colorful robes. My name is Proceus, Chief. He slaps his chest twice. I apologize. Then he bows, brushing the dust on the floor with his sleeves. Rush him. Tell me what you want. He holds up a hand. First, first. He waves to a menial, who brings in bread and milk. Fucking idiot. Gratefully, you bolt down the meal. It does not seem to be poison, and it nourishes you. The bowl is removed, and the chief squats down in a pool of cloth. Jan cowers under your own cloak, hoping to go unnoticed. I have need of you and your strength. I'll kill you. Tell me. The chief nods. I shall. My daughter, my child, she is taken, offered to a terrible demon. Below. Goblins? The chief spits at the word. Goblins. He shakes his head as tears well up in his eyes. We never friends, but we never enemies like this. I do not understand their hate. Why they care about demons in caves. Gotta be the hero, man. Can't help it. I will save her. The chief wipes away a tear with a clawed finger. He gestures to the other Svens who, still taking no chances, grab you by your arms and haul you to your feet. Well then, we're gonna actually take a little break right here. I know this is a relatively short. Let's get to the crack. Let's get to the crack. Crack in the ground, huh? You are led along a short pathway through the forest to a crack in the ground. One Sven has brought a rope and another a basket. They are preparing to lower you down in the pit into the pit of the earth itself. You will pay me richly for this. The Svens nod. The chief replies, we are poor, but we will try. Good. Watch the darkness, he declares as they start to lower you down. From your shoulder, John murmurs, we're in trouble now. He shivers. You hit the floor with a thud and peer into the darkness. Your eyes can make out nothing, but a slight breeze suggests endless space in all directions. You are blind, helpless, trapped. Something clatters 2 feet from above. One of the Svens shouts something down to you. You crouch down and feel around your feet until your hands close around the base of something. You pick it up. It is a dry wood torch. Something else falls from above and strikes you on the head. Tinderbox, calls the voice. Rubbing the bruise on your head, you reach down and find the tinderbox. You strike a light and the torch blazes into flame. And on that note, we are definitely going to end it because now we are going off into some weird side quest that I did not intend to get into at all. So, yeah. Next time, keep yourself to yourself and don't fucking talk to random orcs in the middle of nowhere. Well, it's not in the middle, it's in a village. You get what I mean? So, yeah, I guess we're going to be trying to kill whatever this cave demon thing is. Hopefully it's just some monster. Maybe it's like another rat bear and the demon, or the goblins just call it a demon because they're goblins. They're dumb. What are you going to do? Even, if you play D&D, or pretty much any game other than Warcraft, you know goblins are stupid. Warcraft is one of the only ones that I think has smart columns. But enough about that, though, guys. Again, still enjoying it. Hope you guys are okay with my narration. Hopefully, I'm not doing too poorly. For now, guys, if you are enjoying this series, if you enjoyed this episode, do of course leave me a like, comment, and subscription. It really does help me out. Really makes me feel good seeing the stats in my studio thing. But for now, until next time, you can follow me on Twitter at DM_cross. I'll put a link to my profile in the description below. I do not know if there's a Twitter handle for this game. I have not been able to find one. If I do find one, I'll put that in the profile description below, and I'll tell you in the next video. Until next time, guys, that's all I got for y'all. Peace. Love y'all.